The Inner Musician, 2nd edition. Written by Daniel Kelly II. Foreword by Dr. Robert Larson. Narrated by Karen Crosby. Published 2024 by M.E. Opus. Copyright 2024 by M.E. Opus. Also by Daniel Kelly II, the Flat Nine Jazz Club, The Gathering Album, M.E. Opus, and the Drum Orpheum Rehearsal Hall. The views and opinions expressed in this book belong to the author and may not always reflect those of M.E. Opus or its affiliates. This recording is a production of M.E. Opus for the purpose of research, development, and discussion. To my family and friends from all over, it happened because of your never-ending support. The Inner Musician, your ultimate guide to the reality of a musician. Foreword. I often ask students in my college classrooms to raise their hand if their families expressed concern about a proposed career in music. I've done this over the past several decades, and the responses are mostly unchanged. About half the class raises a hand, and yes, I raise mine as well. Like many young people, I heard the music will be a great hobby for you, but you need to make a living remark growing up. The problem for me, and for many others, is that music is a passion, not a hobby. The fact that I knew it would be risky did not matter to me at all. In the pages of this book, Daniel Kelly II, DK, approaches the prospect of a career in music with passion in the forefront. This is not sugarcoating. However, as a career in the arts is not for the faint of heart, nor is it for those who do not have the perseverance, drive, determination, and talent to make a go of it. There are dozens of books on this topic with very specific, highly detailed information: contracts, touring, networking, taxes, etc. While DK does offer some specifics, the strength of the book is the attitude it conveys. By choosing the important word, inner, as part of the title, Daniel's focus is on the person as well as the product. Topics include keeping current, being clear about one's voice and sound, taking yourself seriously so that others will too, motivation, and self-care. He even includes a chapter on a topic I have never seen in a book on the topic: dating. Is this important? Absolutely. He also points out the obvious, yet constantly overlooked facet of the business, that every gig, song, solo, interaction is important. Every audience deserves your best effort. There are numerous quotes by musicians that support DK's point of view, offering a different but complementary perspective. Pages set aside for note-taking are provided, as aspiring musicians should be interpreting this material in a personal manner and writing down reflections that are meaningful and relevant for each reader. Daniel has the advantage of being extremely talented. He is a fantastic drummer. But he knows that this is not enough, and he lays out the missing ingredients in these inspiring pages. For the musicians I know, the decision to enter this competitive field was made for them. Music tends to choose people, not the other way around. It is helpful to have a little guidance along the journey, however, and Daniel Kelly has provided that guidance. Robert Larson. Introduction. If you wake up every single morning with one thing on your mind, no matter if it is cooking, painting, singing, or consulting, that is what you are meant to be doing in your life. I wake up every single morning with music on my mind, especially drums. I want to play drums. I want to find new ways to bring drums to people who have not experienced my playing style. I want to make new things with drums. I want to write new songs with drums. I want to play more drums. Every morning I feel compelled to integrate music in my day, some way, somehow. Why should I second-guess myself? You should never second-guess yourself. Your life should not be like that. You need to live your own life to the fullest instead of living out the dreams of someone else. You should live your passion to the fullest and push through those tough times. Do not doubt that thought or dream inside of you, because the only one who will be hurting is you. This path will lead you to begin hearing and aligning with others' ideal vision, not just your unique story. The moment that you stop following your heart to do what you love, you start to lose that sense of fulfillment. You start to do things that are pushing you further away from your dreams. If you wake up every morning with music in your heart and mind, but are steered away from that by listening to someone saying that you will never be great in music or music will not put food on the table, this is not making you become true to yourself. You are lying to yourself, like your dream was not real. The days and nights go by with you not reaching your full potential, or even a fraction of it, because you are following someone else's footsteps for your own life. If you stay true to your original path, dream, and vision that lights a fire in your heart, it will guide you to not second-guess yourself or create a miserable feeling. In this book, I will explain what musicians go through and provide a look inside the musical world they live in. This information will provide a different perspective about musicians' interactions with other musicians or even non-musicians. People are curious about music and sometimes may question if it is worth pursuing in life. There might be some questions attached to those thoughts. I hope this book will help to give whomever is reading it more light about the craft of music. Unlock your inner musician. Chapter 1. Quality versus Quantity. Quality versus quantity. What does that mean to you? Those two words can mean different things to different people, as far as how the product is made. Or it can come down to the difference between good or bad. What about musicians? How does it relate to music? Personally, as a jazz artist, I think of quality versus quantity as a structure to live by. From a musical standpoint or drummer's perspective, it can definitely mean a lot. It could mean the quality of drumsticks versus do I have enough drumsticks. If you are a singer, it could possibly mean how powerful do I need to sing for this upcoming concert versus how many songs do I need to know for this next set. What about your musicianship and how you display yourself and your product to the world? If a person keeps having thoughts of, I have to keep pushing out these videos, or I need to push out 3 albums a year, they are not using quality versus quantity as a combination to their advantage. No audience member would enjoy your concert if you have 30 songs for a 45-minute set and all of your songs are sounding rough. They are not going to sit there for your whole set and make their ears suffer because of your lack of attention to details. People are honest when it comes down to a lot of things. As humans, if we like something, we will show our appreciation and support toward it. If we do not like something, we can be nice and say, it was okay, but the body language will say something totally different. We will start to divert from the thing that is making us uncomfortable. Quote, I don't think you should sacrifice quality for quantity. However, I also don't think it is impossible to create a great balance of the two. Benjamin Rickoff. As humans, we have an interesting dynamic between our sense of expectation and outright judgment. We will use our eyes to view the stage presence of the artist and use our ears to evaluate the artist's music that is being produced. We will see how the artist interacts with the audience and other musicians on stage. The audience's eyes are what they use first to draw a picture or expectation of the artist. An audience member may then use their ears to cast a judgment toward the artist's sound. They want to know if the music that the singer, guitarist, or kazoo player has produced is created with quality content to make them want to vibe to it. Some audience members do not care if you are out of tune or playing in the wrong key. They are just looking for a good vibe to feel while out on the town. Then there are those members of the audience that really do care about your sound, stage presence, and interaction. Those members are looking for the whole cake. They want an engaging performance from you. This specific audience does not want to sit through a stale performance. The question remains, which group do you work toward? Do you work toward the audience that just wants to vibe out to some tunes, or toward the audience that is really listening and watching you? Personally, I say perform for everyone, regardless if the audience's musicality is through the roof or if they just want to come out and have a good time. You never know who is going to be in the seat. If the previous sentence did not hit you, read it again. You never know what an audience member is going through. Maybe they are battling tough times and they are looking for music to soothe their hearts. We as musicians and artists need to share our talents with the world, regardless of what is happening in this world. We need to perform to the best of our ability each and every time we step foot on that stage, or in that bar or park. As artists, through our musical talents, we help bridge gaps between people, communities, and cities. Music helps to lighten the soul and rebuild bonds. Quality music will attract more listeners and supporters to you. Quote, "Quality always. As a teacher, one of my primary objectives is to help kids feel successful. What I usually find is that you do that, the quantity will come eventually along with it." Benjamin Lombardo. If you are comfortable with having 15 to 20 songs in one set, then make sure you are audience aware, meaning that you continually check in with your level of engagement. This is the cornerstone of the quality of a musician's performance. If a musician is wondering why their fans, sales, and interaction numbers are going down, they need to change or update the quality of their product to attract the audience back. Here is a tip that could help you out. If you have just moved into a new area and you are the brand new artist on the block, check out some music scenes and venues for yourself. See what kind of music is there already. If you see that the community does not have your style of music, then plant yourself in the mix. You see a problem, and then you bring a solution, which is your music. You will discover more tips on how you can enhance your product later on in the book. As artists, we need to stop viewing quality versus quantity as a separation or choice that we have to make. We need to throw away that mentality and adapt to the fact that we need both quality and quantity. When it comes down to music, we need to focus on building up the quality in our songs, stage presence, and interactions. This will give us more quantity in our songs, performances, and fan base. Chapter 2. Keeping Up with the New. The world changes. Education changes. Communities change. Gas prices change. Why is your music not adapting to those changes? That is the big question here. Yes, I understand that you want to stay true to your genre and pay honor to the legends. But if the world is changing and your music is changing with it, that can give you more opportunities. Why not change with it? The change can be an enhancement to your music. The legends in all genres went through different times during their careers. Do you think they just stood firm and immovable? Of course not. They adapted to those changes and used them to their advantage. Their sound changed as an enhancement to the changes. There are new technologies booming in our realm that can give that extra boost we need in our music. Some artists will denounce these new innovations as nonsense, never to be incorporated with music. If you are constantly complaining about not getting more followers or why your music is not being pushed further, it is because you are still stuck in the past. Enhance your music with the changing times and technologies, and you will see an increase in your overall fan base. That enhancement can do more good toward your music than harm if you actually think about it. There are many different ways to keep your music relevant to the times. If as an artist you want to spread your music to more listeners, share it through online ads or in a paper. Better yet, use your current following. For example, if you only have 10 subscribers, use those same 10 fans and ask them to help spread the word about your music. If each person out of that 10 could reach one person, your fan base just grew to 20 people. Another way to stay up with the times is to promote your music to different radio stations, podcasts, and online services. If you are not able to find a local radio station, there are tons of online stations at your fingertips, just waiting for new music. They are wanting original and expansive music from rising artists, but they are not going to come to you. Why would they? They do not even know you. So, you need to be hungry for a change in your career and approach them yourself. There is no more waiting for the opportunity to knock at your door. The opportunities are right there in front of your face. Get up and go after them. Quote, "All art changes throughout time. However, there are some fundamentals such as a strong tone, quality, and expressive musicianship that should never go away." Benjamin Lombardo. In today's age, online streaming and media are taking over most of the physical aspect of promoting music. There are still some physical traits that can help promote your music and stay with the changing times. But the bigger portion of that fraction is locking in with the digital age. Going into the digital realm is not all that bad. As an artist, you can make music banners with your latest released music that you can send to tons of online music streaming sites. These banners will reach thousands of new potential fans. Selling music online is another way to keep up with the times. Live streaming your concerts can reach fans that may be unable to attend concerts in person. Getting music reviewed by a critic from an online source and having that review posted on your social media is another way to stay current. Quote, "If you feel yourself moving musically in a specific direction, follow your ears. That could be the next big thing and lead towards a new musical development." Benjamin Rickoff. One of the best ways to keep up with the changing times and to stay in touch with your fans is to do a short music session on your platforms. The session can range from saying hello and doing shout-outs, reviewing a new piece of gear, asking questions to the audience for feedback about your music, or sharing news about upcoming events. These do not have to become a daily, mundane task. These could even be weekly. That way people can look forward to that session, just like their favorite television episode. We see our favorite artists, brands, music stores, and festivals, and we think to ourselves, wow, each year they get better and better. All of those favorites have one thing in common. They are all adapting to the changes of the music scene and industry, of the audience, and the world. They are realizing that a hit from the 1900s is not a hit from the 2000s. Those companies and artists realize that their music, products, and presence need to evolve with the times to stay relevant. If you do not evolve with the changing times, your music, products, and image will be left behind. If you want to grow as an artist, then make your products better and give your existing fans something new and exciting. To attract more fans, you need to open up your eyes to the changing world that is right in front of you. For example, if you keep holding on to the mindset of, I've been performing for over 30 years now, and back in the day, I used to do this and it worked for me, then you're not going to get far. If it had worked for you back in the day, will it really work in today's era? Things that might have been done 5, 10, 15, or even 20 years ago cannot be done the same way today. Chapter 3. Know Your Worth. Musicians constantly question their worth as a performer, specifically monetary worth. What is the best way to approach a venue or client in a way that is respectable to your craft, but not disrespectful to the one signing the check? Take everything that you have been through, learned, and faced from the beginning of your career through the present into consideration. A good way to look at this is to consider Steve. He started playing guitar at a very young age, took many lessons, began performing in bands, and recording music videos. He continued music all the way through his higher education. After receiving his BA in music, he went on tour around the state, toured the country, and soon after, the world. Music venues wanted his music on their stage. When the clubs asked for his base rate, he gave them a figure that acknowledged his musical training and effort that have been years in the making. Steve's story is a good example to follow. Do not sell yourself short in this world. If a venue would like to book you and your band for a 3-hour show, and they are offering only $25 for each person, what are you going to do? If you are personally comfortable receiving $25 for 3 hours of work, that is one thing. But are you really taking into consideration all of your training, learning, and performances? If $25 for 3 hours is far too low for you and or your band members, then do not take it. Know your worth. It is as simple as that. If you know your own worth before approaching venues, you are in a far better position than most musicians. Approach each opportunity by keeping in mind all of the years of learning your instrument, the many long hours of shaping your sound, your traveling experience, and the knowledge that you have obtained to play and market your musical talent. In the beginning of every musician's performing ventures, the mindset and heart of, I want to go and play, is incredibly strong. They want to experience the world and show their talent to everyone. One may refer to this kind of experience as exposure opportunities. An exposure opportunity has one thing on the agenda. The musician just wants to perform. There is little monetary reward in an exposure opportunity. In the music world, before a musician becomes known, they will need to gain initial experience by exposing themselves to what the world has to offer. Most of the time, these opportunities are not paid. For example, open mics, talent shows, and birthday parties. All artists in this world have had their fair share of these exposure opportunities. Then the reality of life hits them. They start to realize that there are things they need to acquire in order to continue on their musical journey, and things that they need to pay for, such as bills and equipment. At this point, your mindset should evolve to include the life factor in the mix. This life factor will change your mindset from 100% just wanting to play to a 50-50 ratio, with life being added into the mix. If you are a musician that needs sticks, reeds, and strings for your instruments, then you need to stop performing for free. If you are a musician that has the responsibility of a family to provide for, then you need to stop playing for free. Exposure opportunities alone will no longer serve you fully as your responsibilities grow larger in the progression of life. Quote, "There are multiple factors to look at when deciding how much to ask for. These include the type of venue, the type of manager you are negotiating with, and how you present yourself and your music." Quentin Wollstone. Everyone would like to make money to increase their net worth. In the beginning, it is tough because no one knows you or your sound. It is time to broaden your horizons. How can you approach a venue and say, "I would like to perform here," but neglect to consider your comeback when the venue gives you their base price? The venue could ask, "How much do you charge?" Or they could say, "X is our base price for all acts. Is that fine with you?" You have to anticipate these circumstances and know your musical worth to handle these situations effectively. This is where these previous experiences come into play. If you have done a significant amount of exposure opportunities and you have built up your level of confidence in order, layout, management, travel accommodations, and education, then you will be prepared to make the necessary decisions. Other industries call this field work. These experience attributes gained from your exposure opportunities will expand your musical worth so you can begin to realize the paid opportunities you seek. A lot of people will say you are a professional when you go on tour or when you are playing for a big-name artist or company that the world recognizes. It does not always mean that. Personally, I believe being a professional means that you are very knowledgeable about your instrument or talent. You have received a significant amount of experience under your belt, and you are getting paid for your talent and work. You are setting your own rates now because you know that your art is precious and should not be disrespected. When a venue asks you to perform at their establishment, you can give them the price that is respectable for you. At this point in the book, you are likely seeing the bigger picture as a musician or artist and maybe making your own goals. If you feel like you are worth $1,000 for a show, that is amazing. If a venue is comfortable paying your price of $1,000 for a show, everyone is a happy camper. However, to be realistic, some negotiating is going to come into play. If a venue knows your worth, loves your talent, and would like to book you, but they cannot afford to pay your base price, what do you do? Some artists would decline the opportunity and move on to the next one. Other artists will negotiate with the establishment because they know that it is an opportunity for their talent to be viewed, and it can lead to more engagements with the same establishment. Additionally, it may attract more fans, and you would be building a new bridge. My advice is to work with them. Once a venue sees that an artist is willing to work with them, their eyes and mindset will open up tremendously. They will realize that this artist is not just performing for the money, and that perhaps there can be a mutual benefit to the arrangement. Establishments are looking for people that are flexible. If you know your worth and the venue wants you, but they cannot afford your base price, then negotiate. Negotiate with the goal of getting to the point where both parties are comfortable. This opens up the possibility that the venue will want to give you that callback. We all want that callback, but you have to know your worth first. Quote, "The amount you get paid has everything to do with what you bring to the table with your performance. It took me a long time to realize that most, though not all, business owners don't book musicians that they like. They book the ones that are adding value to their business or event in some way." Andrew Renner. Chapter 4. Allow some me time. As artists, we get into the habit of practicing our craft every single day. We practice for 2 hours here, 4 to 6 hours there. Every single day, we tell ourselves that we have to get better for the next opportunity. We have to be at this level, know these chords, and remember these rudiments. We always should be striving to be better. We build up our own routines as artists, and some of us do not know anything else but to practice. How about taking a breather every now and then? Is it not allowed in the life that we live in? It is allowed and is a necessity. Back in my conservatory days, I was deeply rooted in the habit of practicing hours on top of hours, every single day and night. I remember telling myself that I am only a drummer and no one will take me seriously unless I write like this or learn the charts like that. I pushed myself into thinking that I had to become better than just a drummer. I had to prove to my fellow rising artists and professors that their investment in me was worth it. Most of the time, after classes, my practice sessions ran from midday until sunrise. Personally, I did not realize how much I was practicing or how hard I was pushing my body until a friend of mine came into my practice room one evening and said to me, "Dude, do you even take a break to relax your mind and muscles? You owe yourself even that." That comment had me thinking, and it made me reevaluate myself. No, I had not been giving myself the opportunity to recharge my muscles and brain. Throughout all of the countless hours of practicing, not once had I thought about doing that. I just could not rationalize taking rest time until my friend called me out on it. If you are constantly practicing every day for hours upon hours, you are going to burn yourself out before you receive that sweet performance opportunity that you have been working so hard for. You truly need to insert a breather break into your routine, several of them at that. I'm not saying to take 3 minutes here and 5 minutes there. You actually need to step away from your instrument, your classes, or your project, and do something else that is entirely different from your musical talent. It will clear your head and remind you that you are a human being that needs to recharge because you are neither Superman nor Superwoman. Quote, "When to take breaks. There are times to push through and keep playing, versus times to stop due to mental or physical fatigue. You know you best, and you have to be honest with yourself." Quentin Wollstone. What follows are some examples of breaks that I use when I need to recharge and reset myself. Read a book. Reading a book that is non-music related is a perfect way to utilize your break. The book will divert your mind to the atmosphere of the story, facts, or creative actions that the author wants to portray to you. If you are having a hard time accomplishing a difficult passage in a piece of music, reading a book can relieve that tension in your mind and help you to de-stress. Take a nap. Believe it or not, taking a quick nap could be the right medicine for your break. Catching a few Z's will energize your mind, body, and soul. When you are feeling aggravated or just plain out of it during your session, take some time to close your eyes and recharge yourself. In fact, there are many different types of naps. To ease confusion, I will discuss 3 types of naps for best results: the power nap, the hourglass nap, and the full cycle nap. The duration of the power nap is around 20 minutes. This nap is designed for a boost in energy and alertness. The time span for this nap will limit the rapid eye movements, making it easier to continue your day right after waking up. The second nap is the hourglass nap. In this particular example, the duration is up to a full hour. If you choose this nap, it will act as a refresher course for your body and brain. You will be able to remember passages, solos, names, and titles. This nap's waves or sleeping phase is slow, putting you into a deep sleep. On the flip side, this nap may cause you to experience some grogginess after waking. The last nap in this section will be the full cycle nap. This nap should only be used if you have enough time in your schedule. The duration of this nap is 90 minutes long. This one reminds me of a getaway from the world. You will be able to dream and wake up fully refreshed. This particular nap is absolutely great for repairing muscles, especially after practicing or performing for many long hours. Your health should be in the forefront of your mind. When we do extensive practicing without taking allotted breaks in our routine, that can actually bring nerve and other health damage to our bodies. We need to educate ourselves about these situations. If we do not implement me time into our schedule, our bodies will suffer. If the body is damaged, your physicality will drop. Stamina will diminish and opportunities will become scarce. Do something besides music. This category might be a shock to some people because there are people in this world that do nothing else besides music in their off times. Sometimes we need that positive distraction from our routine. What more can we do? Well, there are a ton of ideas that you can venture into. How about taking a walk in the park? Immersing yourself in nature and receiving that fresh oxygen in your lungs can give you better peace of mind. What about painting, golfing, swimming, or even going out to eat, my personal favorite? Getting food into your system can recharge your energy levels and help reset the mind. Getting involved in any of these activities after a practice session can help ease your mind and your body. This will allow you to unlock doors of insight, energy, and ideas to be implemented when you go back to your session. Stop damaging your health with endless practice hours, performances, sessions, and lessons if your body is screaming at you for help and starving for relaxation and energy. Think about it. If we do not take care of our body by acknowledging the signs of fatigue, exhaustion, dehydration, and sleep deprivation, there will no longer be a body for us to perform with to the best of our ability. We only get one body, and we need to be smart and honest enough to say, it is time for a break. Chapter 5. Dating a Musician. This topic can be objective, opinionated, sensitive, or even plain old crazy. Aren't all musicians just normal people like everyone else on this planet? That question can be approached with a yes or a no. Here's what I personally think. Yes, musicians and artists are regular people. We should be respected as such and not be treated differently. As a musician, when it comes down to our career, passions, hobbies, or our job, there are certain aspects that a regular 9-to-5 job does not demand compared to a musician's schedule. If you date someone that is in the musical realm, you will experience a lot of things that you might not be used to from a previous relationship, such as their performance schedule, practicing, connections, and many others. People with musical mindsets can probably be placed into two categories. These are categories that I like to call traveling and stationary. If you are someone that has a musical talent, ask yourself if you are a traveling musician or a stationary musician. If your partner is a musician, you will also want to be aware of which category your partner falls into. Quote, "Like with any relationship, you need to find someone who appreciates and respects your art and allows you time and freedom to do what you do." Benjamin Rickoff. You are probably wondering what the difference is between each category. Traveling musicians are hungry for more performance opportunities. They will travel near and far for gigs. They will be out on tour for a week, 3 weeks, or even 6 months. That lifestyle is extremely fascinating and mind-blowing. The artist may receive the opportunity to travel the world, see new sights, and other musicians. They will step out of their comfort zone and experience a new level of their talent. If you are an artist, I highly recommend traveling and sharing your talent with the rest of the world. But if you are in a relationship and your partner is not a musician, then you might face some difficulties. Some of these challenges can include trust, distance, communication, loyalty, and obligations. Both partners need to be in agreement with each other. If one is a traveling musician and the other is not, then that should be respected. If you have a gig and it is open to the public, invite your significant other along to show them the life of a musician, teacher, or sound technician. This transparency can do wonders for your relationship. But there are some people in this world where if you tell them that you are about to perform somewhere, they will not believe you. For example, you have a performance at a club and the show starts at 9 p.m. and will end at 1 a.m. Out of respect, you tell your partner your plans. 9 times out of 10, your partner will say, "Okay, have fun," or something along those lines, if they do not intend on joining you. Once your 4-hour set is over, it is close to 1:15 a.m. You have expended a lot of energy out on that stage, or your session, so you eat something there and you start to pack up your gear, as well as the rest of the band's gear, if any. After all that is done, it is close to 2 a.m. You say your goodbyes to your bandmates or team members and you head home. Most gigs or shows are not around the corner from your place of residence. You may be minutes or hours from home. You get home, walk through the front door, and there you see your partner, wide awake, probably with a bottle of wine, still in their pajamas and greeting you with a very frustrated face. At that moment, you are probably confused. Then you will probably ask, "Why are you up?" or "What is wrong?" After you have spoken those words, the falsifying questions start flying out. Where have you been? Do you know what time it is? Who were you with? Ladies and gentlemen, confrontation is not a pretty thing to go through. You need to communicate and sometimes over-communicate so that nothing is left out to be questioned at the end. There needs to be trust, communication, and loyalty to ease troubled hearts and minds, and to keep your relationship strong, even from a distance. People these days do not fully trust each other. It is mainly a soft trust. It is important to build solid trust in your relationships. When a major event occurs, you will want to draw on the solid trust that you have nurtured. Stationary musicians are a part of this conversation too. These artists are different from the traveling kind. They do not travel often, but they are still involved in the music industry. Most of that involvement can be seen in teaching music, fixing instruments, writing music, playing only in one location, and session work. They might receive a performance opportunity here and there, but it is nowhere near the amount of a traveling musician or artist. Stationary artists' schedules are similar to office, education, retail, and food occupations. They will wake up, do their morning routine, proceed to their workplace, it may be in their home, and then work in that location. If they teach in school, then they will put everything they have into teaching their students. If the person fixes instruments or owns a music store, then they will not only fix the instruments with an abundant amount of care or promote the best and latest products, but will also give customer support to those in need. If they write music, then new listeners will hear the musician's passion, inspirations, and heart in his or her work. Most stationary musicians will agree with this schedule or a mix thereof. It is not a bad thing, nor is it a choice that is beneath anyone. We are all equal in this craft. Being a stationary artist may sound like a decent choice, but there is always another side to the coin. Some individuals will get too caught up in their work and forget about giving time to their significant other or family. More time at work and less time with their partner or family will start to break down trust. Attitudes may develop, and connections may change that could fracture relationships. Quote, "Be open to varying work schedules. Be open and aware of the social nature of being a performing musician. There will be interaction with other musicians and audience members. Be supportive and show interest." Tracy Weichel. We as artists of the craft need to become balanced and split our time between music and family. We cannot be solely focused on our creativity in music and totally disregard who is waiting for us at home. We need comfort too. We need that connection with our special loved ones in our life. Artists need to get rid of that tunnel vision, because in music, you cannot forget about those around you who helped push you harder to success, supported you through good times and bad, and encouraged you to hunt the good stuff or count your blessings. If you value your relationships as much as your music, it is well worth the time it takes to balance everything out. Chapter 6. To travel or not to travel? Being a musician can provide many benefits, connections, insights, fans, and self-worth. It definitely shines when you are given the opportunity to travel and share your talent. Traveling can teach you new things, provide you with the opportunity to meet different people, and allow you to share your musical language with people who have not seen or heard your twist on the musical realm. It is absolutely amazing. There are musicians who tell people that they do not want to travel because they are not established yet. Frankly, who cares? Why wait to travel and share your music? You may feel like you need to wait until you have a larger following or a more recognized name. However, it will be too late if you wait for those things to happen. You will be missing out on the potential for great opportunities. The act of putting your music online and letting the distributors promote you is not going to get you very far. Since there are many artists trying to get their music across to anybody and everybody through online streaming, it is hard to make a profit. On average, 1,500 streams on one song will only allow you to reap minimal profit. People, wake up. We are now in a world where it is no longer possible to upload songs and then just sit back and wait for things to happen. Growing up, my mother always told me one specific scripture each and every day. She said, "This world will light a fire in your heart to push you harder to see your achievements." The scripture is James 2:26 NLT. It reads, "Just as the body is dead without breath, so also faith is dead without good works." You can say that you want to become a huge star, but if you are not doing the things that will push you towards that goal, then your dream is dead. Here is what I think. To sit back and wait will produce only 15% of your musical exposure. You cannot just rely on the internet to do its thing and then do nothing in response. What about the other 85%? Proficiency in your instrument constitutes about 40%. Do not forget your managerial and promotional skills that come in at 20%. Finally, there is traveling with a total of 25% of the mix. Quote, "I like to make a difference in smaller locations. If I can expand my impact over the time in that singular location, I will eventually help thousands of students over the course of my career." Benjamin Lombardo. Why do we perform live? There is something different about a person going to a concert and hearing the artist's music live versus listening to the artist's music online. The atmosphere and energy level are totally different for everyone. In the artist's shoes, Performing in a live concert setting will show you all of the supporters, young and old, that are there to hear from you. If you are in the audience's shoes, you get to view your favorite artist and be engulfed by the sways of their music, live. If you as the artist travel to a different location, you will probably not be familiar with the audience. Some people may have heard of you before, but a lot of people will not know who you are. By going somewhere new, you are allowing new prospective fans to be curious about your music and vibe to your talent. This may lead to them becoming an addition to your fan base. You will not experience that by just staying in your original area, your comfort zone. Traveling will help you branch out to more new listeners. The act of traveling to somewhere new can be a little intimidating at first, but it can also be very fruitful to your worth. I will say this again. You never know who will be in the audience. If you travel to a new city for only one show, someone in that audience, by experiencing your talent firsthand, may book you for new gigs. Or someone could be celebrating a special occasion and your music just hit the right spot for them. You never know what the outcome will be. New opportunities like that would not arise if you had just relied on the online distributors to do their job. Traveling can be very beneficial for your musical career. It will take your musical abilities to new heights. If you possess the time and energy for it, get out there and see the world. You will be surprised how expansive it really is. Maybe traveling is not your thing, or you are unable to do so due to family or other obligations. If that is the case, then it is your responsibility to make a grand difference in your home base. Make those around you feel that your musical talent is precious and that they are fortunate that you perform in their hometown or city and nowhere else. Quote, "The world is saturated with incredible musicians, and if you feel like you need to pick up and start new, I urge you to first look around in your area. You'll be surprised with who you come across more often than not." Benjamin Rickoff. Chapter 7. Join others with the same mentality. Growing up as a musician, you may hear from friends, family members, or professors that you have to practice every single day. Well, practicing is a good thing for your craft, but what about sharing your talent with like-minded individuals? That is a really important aspect to have as well. We have to remind ourselves that we can not only practice day in and day out and expect a full change in our sound. Honestly, playing with others will help your sound push even further and move you much deeper into your craft than isolating yourself in your lone practice room. Collaborating with others with the same mentality of striving to progress forward will help train your ears, approach, vocabulary, and so much more. The famous Jimmy Cobb once said, "The best way you can improve your time is to play with musicians that have a good time. You can hear that feeling." Practicing with a metronome to help smooth out your time before an upcoming show is cool. However, most of the time you will not have a metronome on the bandstand with you, unless you are in a band that uses click tracks. Yes, I can see that. But if you are going into a jam session or a band that does not use tracks, just let the atmosphere of the musicians around you take control. Quote, "Networking is simply keeping ties with who you know, looking out for new relationships, and using those relationships to help each other." Quentin Wollstone. If isolation or hiding is your thing because you think that it is not the right time for you to share your talent, when will it be? Why should you keep your sound hidden from the world when you do not even know what is out in the world? Everyone started with solo practice sessions in a small room, but they had that feeling. The feeling of wanting to hurry up and get out into the world. The feeling that gets you anxious to see other musicians, anxious to be in that atmosphere. When I was a young drummer, the only exposure I had with other musicians was from my home church. The house band was a decent size, and those were the artists with whom I shared my talent. Those musicians were my initial view of the musical world. Little did I know that the actual musical world was far greater than what my home church musicians produced. Once I exposed myself to other church musicians and how they performed, I was filled with a flurry of mixed emotions. I felt thrilled and amazed that there were musicians out here, chopping. I felt anger creeping up on me because I felt like I was late to the party and wanted to be on their level as well. I was also feeling ashamed and depressed because I spent so much time in my practice room. I excluded myself from shed sessions, which are basically jam sessions for church musicians. I felt like I was not ready. I missed opportunities to be surrounded by individuals from different walks of life, backgrounds, and approaches to music. Later on, I eventually surrounded myself with musicians that embraced the same mindset of pushing forward. It really helped me see this musical world from a different perspective. Yes, it can be scary sometimes. Yes, you might feel like your talent is not on the same level as others. It is okay to feel like that. It is how we all start as artists. When a person shows interest in a new instrument, teacher, or platform, their first couple of notes will not sound like a carefully practiced sonata or an upscaled light show example. We all start from the beginning and keep pushing forward. It is okay to practice alone for a while, but you need to incorporate working with others. Quote, "Playing with other people, especially those more advanced than you, is the best way to get better yourself. Being around other musicians is good, but you can't lose sight of playing the music you really want to play." Andrew Renner. Have you ever noticed when you hang out with your friends that no one thinks the same? Of course you have. Everyone has their own thoughts, voice, and experiences. Even if you are in a jam session, everyone has their own statement to express. No one statement will sound the same. When you surround yourself with others, you get to hear many different experiences and insights. Those experiences and insights can help motivate you to add some spice to your sound or smooth out some wrinkles. The energy level from others can actually push you further past your practicing habits. Why should we keep our skills hidden from the world when the world can actually take us to new heights in our craft? We as individuals in this musical realm need to understand that our songs, solos, and levels of expertise are a result of our collaboration with those around us. Chapter 8. The Act of Saying No. As an artist, teacher, designer, etc., you will receive opportunities. It comes with a job. Contracts, lessons, clinics, rehearsals, or jam sessions, you name it. You will be occupied because you are a talented individual. Gigs are absolutely great. Receiving opportunities to share your talent is a wonderful thing. What is not fantastic is when you are double or triple booking yourself and you are unable to carry out those responsibilities because you are stretched too thin. Booking opportunities for your talent is great, but it is important to be mindful of what else is on your schedule. Some musicians nowadays have tunnel vision. They are preoccupied with how many performances they have scheduled and do not take the time to check if stacking gigs for that day is feasible. We as artists have to constantly be aware of what else is going on throughout our busy schedule. We need to step out from our tunnel vision of just landing gigs to see the bigger picture. In other words, we need to get out of our way. Quote, "If you don't take care of yourself, the quality of your musicianship will decline." Benjamin Lombardo. If taking on more performance opportunities is causing your professionalism to suffer, then say no. Yes, I understand that being a musician is the only career that some people have. But if your attention to detail is lacking because you are double or triple booking yourself, then back away. You are probably thinking that I do not know your situation and are wondering what I am talking about. Just hear me out. When people come to shows or a classroom, they are expecting something grand to be produced from that very stage you are on. Those same people are waiting for you to wow them or enhance their day or night. That is what they are expecting. If your show begins at 7 p.m., it takes you 30 to 40 minutes to set up, and you arrive there at 6:50 p.m. from a previous gig. How will that look to the audience? How is that time frame even remotely okay? People will view you as unprepared and unprofessional. This will lessen your worth in their eyes and be a waste of their money and time. Being late to an opportunity because you are coming from another opportunity is not acceptable. It should not be something you would ever consider. Think about how your reputation would suffer by doing such a thing. Being a person who strives toward success, you do not want that. We as artists are here to bridge the gaps between communities, and if we are not mentally and physically prepared for doing just that, we will be pushing the audiences and our fans away. We want everyone who has come to the show or event to leave with a great feeling in their hearts and minds. The power of people is extremely important. If just one person talks about your talent, it will spread to the next person, and so on. If you leave them with a bad image in their mind about your performance from arrival to teardown, imagine what kind of negative impact it will have on your image, reputation, and career. You can avoid getting train wrecked because you did not stand by your word. Just talk and explain your situation truthfully. For example, someone would like to book you on a Sunday for a recording session. You already have 3 different church service performances scheduled and a big band concert later that night. Talk to them about your schedule. By taking the time to explain yourself, you have established that your services are unavailable at that designated time for that potential new client, and you also keep the door open to future opportunities. Here is how you can change a disappointing moment into a hopeful moment. Refer them to an artist you recommend for their specific needs. That is not halting your train, but briefly stopping it to ease the client's tension. Also, let them know that you can be available for future sessions. By doing these 2 things, you are being alert and honest with yourself and with the client. You are showing them that you are willing to ease the situation and keep the train moving with a recommendation of another musician that you trust can do the job well. Additionally, you gave them hope by clarifying that you are not moving away from them because of schedule conflicts. Rather, you are allowing them to know that you are looking forward to the next opportunity they have to offer in the near future. Quote, "At the end of the day, I've always tried as much as I can, and then gone back and asked myself whether or not a project was fulfilling. I feel like that metric will give you the best gauge of a project overall." Benjamin Rickoff. Performing live, teaching music, recording, and making instruments is so much fun because you are passionate about it. That fun can also come with unwanted issues in our bodies. Playing an instrument, singing, teaching, or doing any other activity in music will all take a toll on your body. You should not be so focused on getting all of these gigs on your calendar that you become blindsided by what is happening inside of your body. We only get one body on this planet, and we need to take care of it. If we do not fix the issues that we are facing inside of us, then our bodies are not going to be able to sustain more opportunities. If you are in pain and your body is acting weird, just say no to upcoming gigs and focus on yourself first. Take a weekend off from any music-related activities. Leave your home base and go somewhere new and fresh. You owe your mind, body, and soul time to reboot and rebuild. Be at peace with yourself once again so that you can regain your energy and come back to performing for your fans at 100%. Realize that the health of your reputation, image, fans, career, and body come down to the decisions that you make and the actions you take. You need to be honest with yourself and those around you. Manage your schedule better and stop being greedy. Greed combined with music is one dangerous mix. You will understand what I am talking about once you experience overbooking for the first time. Or maybe you have already experienced this situation and you are saying, that's right. If you are unable to put more on your plate, just say no. Chapter 9. Let your voice be heard. Music is a universal language. Some people will argue that it is not. They will state that music is just a bunch of noise and cannot really unify anyone. There are people in this world that do not care about it, but actually it is all around them. Everyone listens to music, regardless if it is on the radio, online streaming, CDs, records, or elevator jingles. If you travel to a different country that speaks a different language from yours and you begin to play an instrument, people will join you with their attention and even bring in their own instruments. I am a drum set artist that travels a lot, and when I go to Central and South America to play drums, people will join me. Even though my Spanish is not that great, we all speak the language of music. People will hear my voice through my drums. Musicians all around me will share their voices through their instruments as well. Growing up in a gospel church, I watched and listened to a lot of drummers and musicians. I saw how they approached their instruments with ease, but also showed a connection to each other while they were playing. It was as though they were talking to each other without a word spoken. By viewing these interactions, I have come up with a way to categorize your voice into 3 parts: your sound, emotions, and expression. Every single thing on this planet has a beginning, just like your sound. In order to be expressive with your own creative and distinctive sound, you need to expose yourself to other sounds. You are not in this alone. Look at other artists in the genre that you would like to be in and see how they express their sound. Listen to the details and the small nuances that make them unique. Each person is different and will open your eyes and ears in a new way. At this point, you are probably starting to pick up certain things from other artists, and that is a good thing. You are in the creative process of acquiring your own sound. Throughout time, you will start to practice the subtle things that you have heard from your study of other artists. This collection of studies is what I like to call the mixing pot. You are collecting the ideas that you think will work and discarding the ones that will not. Quote, "Strive to make whatever you create be something of substance and quality. Don't discount yourself and remind yourself that you are in a process of becoming a musician with more and more expressive mastery." Quentin Wollstone. The sound for most individuals is not just of one genre or one teaching. It is seasoned from multiple genres that the artist has experienced and absorbed, which helps them with the evolutionary process of completing their own sound. I challenge you to venture through other genres and teachings and pick up certain things that you like. Listen, it is okay to have a liking for diverse things. We are all different, and that is what makes each one of us so unique. Picking up techniques from other genres or teachings may be beneficial for you down the line in your career. Your voice is also affected from something within, your emotions. Why would we involve emotions in music? Why would we not? Emotions show what we are feeling and what we are trying to express. We need to unleash those emotions in the studio, on stage, and to our fans. Allow me to break it down further. Without emotion being involved in music, it will be a bland and monotone rhythm, like a Morse code being drummed into our ears. Very unpleasant and very boring. If you add a touch of happiness to that dreadful monotone, it will sprout more notes across the staff that will paint a bright picture. When you add sadness to the mix, people will hear the pain and sorrow in the melody and chords. Adding your emotions through your playing, singing, and writing will take your music to a different level, and it will draw the audience in for the ride. You have a wide array of emotions inside of you that are just waiting to be let out. This leads us into the final part, which is expression. No one will know how you are feeling, what you are thinking, or what you would like to say unless you express yourself. Expression is the communicative process of making known one's feelings and thoughts. As an artist, we showcase our feelings, gratitude, thoughts, and our curiosity through expression. The purpose of expressing oneself through music is different and personal from person to person. One person may express themselves by being angry at something that is happening now or has happened in a previous point in their life. You can hear through their music that they are upset about something by listening to the lyrics or what the atmosphere is painting. Another artist could have just released a hit single that everyone is talking about and is getting people in a good mood. When you hear it, you can immediately sense that the artist was happy and excited about something and wanted to share the joy with everyone around the world. Quote, I don't think your voice is something you find one day. It can change based on life experiences, the music you listen to, anything really, and that's okay. Andrew Renner. Music acts as a person's substitute voice. When you are having a really hard time expressing yourself to someone, music can be the substitute for your voice. It will serve as another representation of your thoughts and feelings. You may be asking yourself if there is an appropriate time to express yourself, and honestly, it is in every moment. There can be days where you are filled with joy and happiness. Express yourself through music. You will be surprised at what comes out of it. There will also be some points in your life when you do not want to talk to anyone and just want to sit in your room. Take some time to express those feelings through music. There have been many great artists, such as Prince, B.B. King, Nat King Cole, Wayne Shorter, and The Temptations, where some of their best hits came from what they experienced during their life. They used music as their avenue or shuttle to guide them through those experiences. No matter if we are just entering the musical craft for the first time, are studying music now, or have been out traveling the world, we are still students of music. We will constantly pick up new insights from our past and present to help us improve our craft. We are also continuing to pick up useful tips from those around us. Our emotions are never constant, and we need to be mindful of such. New emotions will come to us the more we press forward in our daily life. Be mindful and approach them accordingly. Finally, allow yourself to express the mixture of sounds that you have been stirring up, along with the addition of your inner emotions. Your voice and music is a never-ending cycle of building upon all three parts: sound, expression, and emotion. Shine through your music, writing, singing, and teaching. Allow your voice to be heard. We as artists are and will be constantly changing throughout our time in this musical realm. If you have progressed this far in the book, I congratulate you. I hope my thoughts and concepts are relating to you in some way, and that you would like to find out more. Chapter 10. Open for Business. Letting your music work for you. Is it possible to transform your talent into a musical career? Everyone on this planet listens to or watches some form of music. Whether it is on the radio, while you are sitting in a theater, on your grandmother's record player while she bakes a batch of fresh cookies, or even experiencing street musicians while you are on a date. Some people see these bands or artists performing live and think to themselves, that must be a fun hobby to have. That kind of comment or thought is the disconnect that we face as artists and non-musicians. There is a lack of education between the artists and audience members when it comes down to branching off in music. Artists invest in countless hours of practice and money to perfect their craft each and every day. There are artists who have gone to school for music and trained professionally to some degree. There are also musicians who have traveled the world for new insights, teachings, and stages to perfect their craft. If you are constantly thinking about music when you wake up, throughout your day, and before you go to bed, music is no longer a hobby. My friend, you are entering into a career choice. You are serious now. The calendar is filling up, the album is coming out, and people are talking about the next show. The time is now, and you need to educate people about your growth. Show them that you have chosen music as a career by booking more gigs, getting music out on the streaming platforms, into stores, selling merchandise, and traveling to different areas. Quote, sometimes as musicians, we get caught up in the creation of it all. Take time to be organized and establish strong relationships. It will pay off. Benjamin Lombardo. Stay with me as I guide you through some paths that you can take in music. 1. Build an act or band. Seek out new business opportunities. There are many avenues that one can take to make music a career. One of those avenues is by performing in a band. When you go to a restaurant or an outside event, you will probably hear live music being played. You may be left with the impression that this is their only show. I will assure you this is not the case. Most artists who have performed at one location will always have another gig lined up throughout the month. It is really simple. The more you perform in front of people, the more gigs you will get. People will talk about your musical talent. You never know who is in the audience listening to you. It may be a potential new client that would like to book you. Performing live and picking up new clients is one way to make your music work for you, but the probability of that happening is 50-50. Another way is to go directly to the source. Go to restaurants, events, festivals, walking malls, or wineries, and pitch your idea. Sell yourself and sell your music. If you do not have a manager, an agent, a film crew, or a photographer, you will need to be prepared to take on all of these roles. Come to a business prepared. I cannot stress this enough. Before approaching a business, you need to have your ducks in a row. What level of expertise do you have playing in front of people? Performing in front of a crowd can be great fun, but it also can be frightening at first. It is okay to be nervous the first couple of times, as we all have been there. Before you go out in public to perform to people that you may not have seen before, ask someone you know to attend one of your practice sessions or rehearsals. Ask your parents, grandparents, friends, neighbors, and anyone that you consider to be close to you. By having someone you feel comfortable with watch you play or teach, it will help ease some of the jitters and can provide you with constructive criticism. Yes, you may stumble a few times at first. You may even tell yourself that you cannot do it because they are looking at you. Do not worry. Push through. Each person that you have asked to attend your performance and watch you are your supporters. Once you are comfortable with the indoor venues, I suggest booking a gig where you have the opportunity to play outside in order to experience the outdoor feel. It is important to identify the primary genre that you would like to perform and find existing songs or write new songs to play for your set. Also, in order to be prepared, you need to do your research on the business. If the genre that your band plays is metal and you are calling on venues that primarily host pop bands and jazz bands, your success rate in picking up a new gig will be low. There is a venue for every genre in this world. You just have to do your homework. You cannot be lazy and expect that each and every gig will come to you. If that is going to be your mentality, then this road is going to be extremely difficult for you. Research the types of venues that are in your area and then visit them in person when they are hosting music. This will give you an idea of the genre they are looking for on a daily basis or even for special occasions. What if the genre at the venue you have visited is not currently in your realm? Pitch the idea. Once you have researched the venues, events, or festivals that are in your area, it is time to move forward. Do not be discouraged if you do not see your genre in the mix. Pitching your idea of the genre you perform is the next step. You can see it now, performing live in front of new people, sharing your talent in a new area, and growing a following. I hate to rain on your parade, but none of this will happen unless you move forward, contact the venue, and pitch your idea. When you reach the point where you are ready to contact a business, you need to clearly state, first and foremost, who you are and what you want to perform. Remember, these managers, owners, and points of contact are busy, and they do not have time in their busy schedules to start looking for your email or voicemail to understand why you are contacting them. So, be clear on your intentions. Explain the details. What is your act? Do you sing, dance, or play an instrument? What genres do you perform? Finally, let them know if you perform solo, as a duo, or as a trio. Provide them with samples of your performance so that your talent can be passed along to other people in the chain of command. The objective is to get your foot in the door. You are not the only one who will be contacting these important people, so make it unique. These details are important for the business to know so that they can fully understand who their next musical guest will be. It is also necessary for you to keep a record on the next potential opportunity and who you have contacted. Quote, "If you have examples of your playing, most of the time your message will be passed along to other people in the chain of command." Tracy Weichel. Leave on a good note. Once you have approached the business and you have pitched your idea, the next step is to leave on a good note. You have navigated your way through the beginning stages of booking the gig, which is introducing yourself and presenting what you and your band can bring to the table. Now you may be wondering how you should conclude the conversation. Keep it simple, to the point, and leave on a good note. What do I mean by leaving on a good note? Well, the manager's or owner's time is very valuable, and it should not be wasted by you overselling or trying to force them to book you. Sometimes less is better. Give them some time to breathe and digest what you just asked of them. If you are at the venue, look him or her in the eyes and thank them for their time to hear you out, and then vacate the premises. You can stay if you are going to eat or shop there, but do not approach them again on the same day. If you are on the phone or messaging them online, still thank them for their time to hear you out. The last thing that you want a potential venue or event space to be left with is a bad taste in their mouth about you. An unpleasant interaction with a business is hard to come back from. Seeking out new business opportunities, coming to a business prepared, pitching the idea, and leaving on a good note will actually not only help you in this regard, but also other avenues in making music a career. 2. Teaching. At some point in your journey, you were taught by an individual that was ahead of you in your progress. You did not magically wake up one morning and start performing from city to city, or write Grammy Award-winning pieces each day. You had to learn how to get to that point. The teaching avenue is not only another way to make music your career, it is also very honorable. The musical world will always attract new talents who are curious about the craft and need help tapping that start button to begin their first encounter with music. If you are reading this book and you are already an artist in the realm, whether you are a low-tier, mid-tier, or higher-tier artist, remember the beginning days and who first taught you. Remember who you sought out for more insight because you were filled with curiosity. Teachers help guide young aspiring artists to and through the world of music. They are everywhere, in schools, the military, and outside organizations. I remember my beginning days of entering into the craft of music and experiencing all of my family members' musical inclination. This sparked my hidden talent to rise from a young toddler to where I am now in my career. My initial teachers were my family, then they branched off to the educational system, outside influences, the military, and competitions. I am so thankful for all of the teachers along my path in my career. They are truly needed in this world. If no one steps into the teaching shoes, who will become successors for the next generation? As a teacher, you will be sharing what you were taught and what you learned throughout your time in the world with those that you are instructing. You are passing down knowledge with all that are seeking guidance. Additionally, you are receiving the joy and benefits of seeing students or apprentices grasp on to your teachings, as well as infuse their own ideas into the mix in order to formulate their own sound and choose their own path. The compensation for teaching varies. If you want to become a private instructor or studio instructor, that current payout is between $30 and $120 for every 30 to 60 minutes. The lesson fee is determined by the instructor's experience, credentials, and the going rate in the teacher's region. If you are traveling to a private student's home, that can require an additional fee if you so choose. The compensation as a music teacher in the grades K through 12 in a public school is generally in the range of $30,000 to $70,000 a year. Top 10 careers in the music business. These amounts will be determined by the school's community, since that is where the institution receives their funding. Teaching for K through 12 will also require a state certification. If you would like to teach music in a higher education setting, the benefits will be greater, as will the requirements for that position. For an assistant professor's position in higher education, you will be looking at a salary of $43,000 to $60,000 a year. Top 10 careers in the music business. The salary will be determined by the size of the university or college, its budget, and the applying teacher's reputation. 3. Session musician. Signing on as a session musician is a lot of fun. Being one is an honor in itself, because you are either recording on an artist's album or playing live with many different talents. This position will compact with not only your primary genre, but also many other genres that may include jazz, rock, Latin, metal, country, world, blues, reggae, classical, and so much more. In this arena, proficiency in your instrument and other genres is required. You will have to be able to step into any musical arrangement with ease and without hesitation. This will showcase your countless hours of experience from playing in each genre. You may ask, it sounds cool, but does it pay well? Always remember that everyone had to start at the bottom at some point and then work their way up the ladder. As you gain more experience, you can request a salary increase for your current position or seek a more lucrative position. Some sessions can pay out from between $60 to $2,500 per day, or even up to $100,000 plus. After discussing some of the potential career paths that you can choose from, we need to delve into the anatomy of the working musician. This design consists of 6 key factors that we as artists possess, but need to exercise even more if we strive to make it in this ever-changing world. The first factor is your brain. The brain is a powerful tool in our body. People say that on a daily basis, we barely use the full potential of our cranium. Your brain needs to be full of ideas. You probably have at least 3 to 4 great ideas that you want to push out and turn into reality. Keep dreaming and keep creating. The second factor you need to use more of is your eyes. You use your eyes to watch television, to read, and to see your family, but you need to go deeper than that. You should use your eyes to seek new opportunities. You need to stop being in the mentality of thinking that gigs, students, and/or performance opportunities will magically appear at your doorstep. I hate to break it to you, but that will not happen 9 out of 10 times throughout your career. You have to be hungry for opportunity. You need to seek out venues for performance opportunities. You should seek out more students for your teaching studio. Use your eyes to find more chances to incorporate your talent into the community. The third factor that you as an artist should exercise more of is your ears. Every single day, you use your ears to hear other artists, to listen to your professors, mentors, and to hear your own craft. What about using them to listen to feedback? Receiving insight from your fans, students, or mentors can help out your talent and career goals in many ways. You need to learn to be more comfortable in listening and then reflecting on those words being spoken to you. The fourth factor is your mouth. Think about it. You normally communicate with others through speech. When you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, speak about your visions with them. There is no point in bottling up those great ideas inside of you if you do not plan on sharing them. Yes, I understand talking too much about your ideas with people can be counterproductive, so just use good judgment when sharing those thoughts. Honestly, on the flip side, when you share your vision with other people, another individual could invest in your talent and ideas. The fifth factor comes from within, and that is your heart. Regardless if your talent is in music, sports, finances, or even cooking, you need to have your heart full of passion in everything that you do. For instance, we may all have been in a circumstance once in our lives where we went to a hotel and noticed that they did not put their heart into the upkeep of the establishment. We may also have been to a hotel where everything was absolutely gorgeous, and you could tell that the management and their team's passion was in their work. The same thing applies to your talent. If you do not have your heart filled with passion for what you are doing, it is not going to be the best representation of who you are and what you represent as an artist. The sixth and final factor that you need to put into action is your feet. Forming an idea in your head is one of the first steps. But then you need to use those feet of yours to take the actual first step toward turning your dreams and visions into full-fledged realities. Use them to take paths that will propel you forward to reach your goals. Yes, there will be times where a path that you choose did not turn out to be the one, but the truth is, you still have time. Retrace your steps and start over. Artists and musicians are not human beings that just take up space everywhere we go. We are innovators, crafters, and enthusiasts. You could be the next big thing in this world. So, take advantage of what you have learned in this chapter to help you think outside of the box when it comes to your musicality. View your artistry and talent as an innovative tool that can be used as a source of income in your life. Quote, "Keep an open mind and be an explorer of music. Don't stick yourself in one corner and think you'll be able to survive on it alone." Benjamin Rickoff. Chapter 11. Find that motivation. Motivation is defined as the desire to act in service of a goal. Owning a business is fun. Being a professional musician is amazing. Having your own shoe line is rewarding. But these endeavors would not become a reality if people were not motivated in the beginning to fulfill those goals. We could even go back to the very first time that you learned to tie your own shoes. It was challenging at first to wrap your mind around how the bunny was going to get through the hole if your finger and the other part of the shoelace were still in the way. Even though it might have seemed impossible to do, you kept going. You kept pushing yourself to tie those little shoelaces of yours until you got to the point where you pulled both loops to form that knot across the top of your shoe. You probably sat there with joy spread across your face, excited to finally see your shoes tied. At the same time, you did not learn how to tie those shoes by yourself. There was probably a family member sitting right there with you. That person who was teaching you how to tie those little shoelaces never left your side. That individual was right there showing you their shoes and was motivating you to push even harder to accomplish your goal. The person sitting beside you and the thought of you completing the task of tying your shoelaces were motivation that was pushing you to try again, and probably try once more. That motivation acted as fire in your heart, encouraging you to not give up nor settle for asking for help. Quote, "Reflection and brutal self-honesty can be hard, but it's worth it and can realign and rekindle your motivation." Quentin Wollstone. Regardless if you are an artist, music manager, publisher, music teacher, or producer, something or someone motivated you in the beginning and throughout your discovery process. These motivations helped shape the path of your hobby, career, or life. That motivation helped ignite the first steps down that road and is helping you now to strive even higher toward your goals, with your bold ambitions attached to them. Let me put it into a different perspective. Before you started on your journey through the musical world, something caught your attention. Sound swayed your body to the rhythms you were attracted to. The sudden action of your foot tapping felt like second nature to your soul. Those events enlightened you to dive into that very image that engulfed you in the first place. What if you were not at a music performance? What if you witnessed the pure joy of an individual teaching music to toddlers, juniors, young adults, adults, or senior citizens? What if you were in a facility that moved the hearts, minds, and souls of people in therapy to keep pushing and never stop trying? All of these first experiences are motivation to people around the world. They helped you begin your journey to become something greater in the world of music. Your talent is the continuation of what motivated you to pursue your musical endeavors in the first place. That motivational factor planted a seed in your heart in the beginning. The seed continued to grow, and your interest grew along with it. In your daily routine, more things reminded you of that first encounter. It could have been something on the radio, television, or a magazine article. Everything you were surrounded with continued to remind you that the path was set, and all that was left was to take the first step. This motivation sparked something grand in your life. It allowed a new door to open in your heart that was calling your name in the first place. Whatever motivated you in the beginning helped to pave the path to where you are right now. This initial motivation starts things off, but what happens when you lose that motivation to keep going? This question probably has you thinking by now. This topic bothers me because there are so many influences out there in the world. There are promotional companies that have 400,000 plus followers boasting about the good life that their followers are living, but they never want to show other people how to better themselves. They never seem to want to hear your ideas or talk to you as a human being. Or maybe they do want to help you, to show you how to become just like them, if only you send them your email and pay a flat fee. It is easy to fall into a trap where the information that the influencer is giving you is nowhere near what they told you they would provide in the beginning. They talk around the subject and never really come straight with you. They take your goodwill as an opportunity to better themselves, but will never return the favor to help you become better. This scenario does not help you build motivation towards your craft. Think back to the first motivator that encouraged you to pursue your path. It may be a person playing a guitar during a child's therapy for recovery, or when you saw your favorite performer live on stage. Think back to those times when you first started down your path. This will help spark that flame again in your heart. There may also be times when you just want to give up and throw in the towel on your dream. The best thing to do is to motivate yourself out of that funk. No pun intended. To rekindle that flame, it must start from within. You need to tell yourself that you can push forward and achieve many great things. If you are still not able to see your original motivation from the beginning of your journey, you need to set up a new motivator, and one which will always be with you. That motivator is you. You are the eternal flame. How many times have you told yourself that you wish you had a better life? How many times have you pointed out your shortcomings or the fact that there is not generational wealth from your parents or grandparents? How many times have you seen an artist that you admire, see where they are on the charts, and wish that could happen to you? What I am about to share with you now should be absorbed by all of you who want to see a change not only in your life, but the lives of those around you. These upcoming thoughts will help reignite your inner motivator. When you have lost that initial drive and you do not know if you can push on, stop and think about this. If you tell yourself, "I won't," you are not going to move forward. You have made up your mind on the cause. This may happen if something unfortunate happened to you along your path. When you tell yourself, "I can't," you are at a 15% chance of getting back on track. If you say to yourself, "I wish I could," you may have a 30% chance of succeeding toward your goal. Are you following what I am saying? When you tell yourself, "I want to," you are halfway there. Ladies and gentlemen, You are on the verge of restarting your passion and pushing that talent of yours even further. We are not done yet. Keep following me. If you tell yourself, I might, that is elevating you to a full 60% push in your mind. In approaching a 75% push, you are at a I think I can stage. You will hear Thomas the Train's voice saying, I think I can, over and over again. Take away the word think from the previous phrase, and that leaves you with, I can. This is putting you at a 90% push now towards the rekindling of your inner motivator. Finally, by crystallizing where you are at on your path and making the decision to climb up the affirmative ladder, you are finally at 100% on the motivation scale. At this level, you are declaring loud and proud, I did it! You pushed through it all. You saw yourself at the bottom, but not anymore. You should not have to pay thousands of dollars for this information. The percentage levels that I have identified are here to help you clarify where your heart is at on your path. Think about what you want to do. Do you want to get out of debt? Do you want to build a house? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to end family curses and start fresh? You can. There are two roads you can take for any endeavor in your life. You can either commit fully or bail out. Which one will you choose? Quote, there will be a point where you can't lift as much weight or run as fast, but the journey shouldn't stop there. Andrew Renner. There will be times along our musical journey and even in our own life when we are going, pushing, and hustling hard. We will be seeing the many bountiful blessings that are coming to us until we become stagnant in our ways. Perhaps we just seem to have lost our motivational drive to keep going. I am telling you this. Do not worry about that feeling. You will get through those days. Just remember why you started on your journey in the first place. Remember that person, thing, or action that caught your eye and filled your heart with delight to pursue your own path. Breathe. Take time to see what caused you to stumble, and then rekindle that fire to move forward. The momentum still lives inside of you. That huge drive that was in your heart in the beginning is still alive. Have faith. You can do it. You can succeed. You will succeed. Afterword. We all have a spark of music that is glistening in our hearts. The motion to move our bodies to soothing or thriving vibes and occurrences rings through us. The calling for us to dance, sing, play, perform, instruct, or design is inside each and every one of our hearts. You probably felt yourself gravitating towards doing something in music before you even picked up this book, or pursuing a musical capability that allows you to speak about your feelings in a different language. It is inside of you, your inner musician. Unleash your inner musician's capabilities and show the world where you truly stand and what you truly stand for. We as artists need to stop allowing people to dictate our own lives, forcing us to go down paths that are not our own. Stop accepting that in your life and perform on the path the way that you want to. The image, the performance, and the talent should be unique to you and you alone. Continue to be a student of music. Never become complacent in your musical journey. This world that we live in needs new and innovative individuals that will be able to bring cultivating ideas to the listener's eyes and ears. Whether it is on the bandstand, in the classroom, in the sound booth, or in the design room, your talent is needed in this world with the flair of fresh ideas. There is always something new that you can learn to enhance your talent. Whether it is becoming more aware in your stage presence, having more engagement with the audience, or even thinking outside of the box in your designs, fresh ideas will help with your enhancement and progress. There will be times where you will see prodigy artists that can outplay you, or institutions that are very selective in who they hire. That can be discouraging, and I have felt that feeling before. What moved me away from that dark sense was the fact that my inner musician is unique to me, and by itself is grand. I encouraged myself to look past the struggles and to use them as fuel. You can make your dreams into realities. It starts with you believing in yourself first. I wrote this book to give my personal insights, as well as share with you other artists, musicians, teachers, and other musical professionals' insights into the community that we live in. There are some people in this world that believe music should not be a career choice and should be banned. There are people that think you will never become successful by pursuing music as a career. Those thoughts are made from people not being educated about what great opportunities there are in the musical realm. I will never tell a rising artist that he or she will never become successful in this world. I want to encourage and educate people of the possibilities of music and what it can offer. Daniel Kelly II, Winchester, Virginia, danielkellymusic.org. Acknowledgements. To the support that I have received from many artists, family, and friends that help me reach my goals, I thank you with all of my heart. I hope this book shines a light on what we as musicians experience in this lifestyle. I especially would like to thank Dr. Robert Larson, Benjamin Lombardo, Quentin Walston, Tracy Weigel, Andrew Renner, Benjamin Rickoff, Rachel Lombardo, and Alfonso Young Jr. for taking the time out to help me with this endeavor. Thank you. This recording is a production of ME Opus. The video and audio are copyright 2024, ME Opus.